Welcome to today's webinar. This is going to be a great one, you bet, and your time is going to be deployed appropriately. Today we're going to be talking about B2B content on LinkedIn, and while you're guys getting in there, let us know where you're from, what's the weather like where you are at, and quite frankly, your expectation of this webinar and what you'd like to learn, because we have a person that I personally admire, and we get to hang out a lot when we're in the same time zone, same country, and so this is going to be epic. So before we get started, just tell us how you're feeling about this webinar and the show. All right. Let me type it in here. Her new NYC. Yeah, Judy. Hey. Nice to see you, Judy. Some familiar faces. Awesome. Well, we're going to slowly get going. As I said, guys, today we're going to be talking about B2B content on LinkedIn. Ivana is founder and CEO of AuthoredUp. She has been an excellent founder, building in public, sharing openly her content and strategies, analytics that you cannot find anywhere else on the web. And she, graced us with her time today to actually share some of that. We call her the Queen of LinkedIn content. And I just personally know that she's a numbers person. So there you go. Hint, hint. She's a big numbers person. She holds master, if I'm not mistaken, in economics analysis, if I got that correctly. So she's really into stats and analysis. So today she's going to share a whole bunch with us, but more specific and related to LinkedIn, the platform we all really admire. And you can always reach out to Ivana at hello@authoredup.com. Hope I got that email right.
I hope also. I'm not sure.
Okay, no, so you can find her on LinkedIn. I'm
kidding. No, we have that one. Yes, I just
doesn't have emails
to move it. No, to move it to my inbox. Yeah.
Awesome, perfect. Well, we have Czech Republic here, we have Germany, New York, Spain, and we have Oscar who's saying that Ivana's posts are amazing. Perfect. So we have some validation right at the start. Yes. So Ivana, anything that I missed in the intro about you? Anything you'd like to add to that?
No. Yeah. Well, you said I'm a queen of LinkedIn. I'm not. Like that. That's one thing that I cannot agree with you.
Come on. Well, that's okay. So I will preserve my right to say that. All right. Perfect. And moving on to, as you guys know, like we're not going to be throwing slides at you. This is just the intro. We like to kind of get you familiarized with the people that are going to be speaking today. My name is Vedran, CEO and founder of LeadDelta. I'm a serial software entrepreneur. And most importantly, I'm really proud of my teams, and I like to call myself a guy who likes to build winning teams. So you can always reach out to me at ved@leaddelta.com. Just find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever. I'm around. Awesome. So what is the plan for today? Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about, kickstarting your LinkedIn content journey, whether you're a company leader or just a professional individual who wants to work on his or her own content. Basically, we're going to be, just covering the basics that you need to know, but we kind of assume that you are a bit further away from that, so that you are further away on your journey. Then we're going to be focusing on the behind the scenes, like specific insights and strategies that you can learn from Ivana. So we're going to spend the bulk of our time there, because again, Ivana is just freaking amazing, and she has a company that has a whole bunch of data on our posts. And so I'm personally excited to hear most of this stuff. And then we're going to slowly, my mouse is going crazy. And we're going to slowly talk a little bit about content and connections and how can you pair the two to have the most output and results. Finally, we're going to go through Q&A. So we have a whole bunch of questions coming in from you guys while you were registering for the webinar, but then also like we're going to be open for some live questions. Do feel free to interrupt us with a question. If we find it appropriate, we'll jump in and answer immediately. Big prompts to my team. Just want to give a big shout out to the entire LeadDelta team. You don't see this often. 3 times in a row, our product has been a #1 product of the day on Product Hunt. On Monday, we went live with the 3.0 version. And as a reminder, beginning of the year, we were voted the #1 software as a service company of 2022, as well as on Product Hunt and some other platforms. Now, with the 3.0 version, we've released a whole bunch of updates. Some of them live and public updates, some of them beta updates that you need to ask for in order to use. So I just encourage you to start a trial if you haven't already and just play around with the product. My super uber helpful team will be on the other side waiting for you. All right, final prompt, stay until the end. We have some really exciting announcements, and also like we're going to be talking about the other shows that are coming up, and also provide you some Black Friday discounts. So stay until the end. That's it from the intro. We're going to go right into it. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can see Ivana in full glory. All right, perfect, Ivana. So for newcomers, what are the steps a company or individual should take when starting their LinkedIn content journey? What would you say are the first must-have steps?
I think the first thing is to consider what exactly you would like to achieve on LinkedIn. And if possible, have one specific goal that you can easily measure. And the second part is understanding where you are right now. Where you are with number of followers, connections with your content, with like the quality of your content, like try to assess it or to ask someone for feedback, and to ask for honest feedback. And also you also have data from LinkedIn, right? You can also find the data in AuthoredUp. It's about number of impressions and reactions, engagement, like how do you feel about people that are engaging? So first is setting the goal. If possible, have one goal. And what can be a goal? It can be, I want to build awareness about myself, so about my knowledge. I want to nurture existing community, existing relationships. I want more networking. I want to find a new job. I want to get X inbound clients in X amount of time. So that is a very specific goal that you can potentially achieve in the next few months up to 6 months. So that is somewhere where I would start before even thinking about writing one single LinkedIn post.
Gotcha. So basically, what are you trying to accomplish? And then ultimately, which kind of parameters or metrics you want to track based on those goals and objectives. Some which are being provided to you by LinkedIn, others are in AuthoredUp, and I say this wholeheartedly as a user customer. Perfect. And so how does one identify the right content mix that aligns with their brand or professional image on LinkedIn? We are seeing more and more content creators, some are really into sharing photos, even more personal ones. Some are sticking to a really professional content. Different people, depending on their goals, are trying different things. So how do you identify the right content mix?
That's something that you need to test out. After you understand your goal, you obviously need to understand who is your target audience. So if you are in a legal space, you have a different type of the target audience than someone who is in SaaS or e-commerce, or sales. So that is the industry and your target audience, what type of content that resonates the most with them. You need to assume something, and then it comes to what you can deliver. So if I tell you it's amazing if you do 2 carousels and 2 image posts, 1 text, 1 poll, 1 video, if you have a content marketing team or someone who is a very professional in creating content, maybe you can deliver something like that. But some people don't feel comfortable with specific types of content. Some people also understand that, text posts are for them and they enjoy writing text posts. And at the end, it's about return on investment, because it's not the same creating 1 carousel, 1 video, and 1 text post, right? And finding an image. So those are all things that you need to consider when you start creating, where you feel comfortable, because if you don't feel comfortable, it's very hard to create consistently that type of content. So try to find a mix where you feel okay, what resonates with your target audience and what you can deliver in the next few months at least.
That's I wasn't comfortable doing videos at all in the beginning, but then we welcomed one of the colleagues to LeadDelta who was actually really good with editing, and he made me a lot more comfortable doing videos. And so we kind of mixed the content. I would say it's also important to get out of the comfort zone sometimes, because if you're trying to achieve certain goals, they demand to do, of you to do certain type of content, right? And so, can you? So let's use, like, for example, SaaS as an example. Founder of a SaaS company, B2B. What would you say? And obviously, you want to increase the top of the pipeline, increase the awareness, et cetera, et cetera. So what would you say would be like a good content to start with based on
Yes. So for I think that for anyone that is starting with the content, I think that what I call how I content, so some kind of a building public content really resonates with the audience. So it is not that much about the format, it is about what exactly are you communicating. And if you can share your methodology, how you are thinking about specific issues, or how did you solve something, it doesn't even have to be huge. You can talk about small things and small steps that make you do XYZ, or how you fail. Like posts that are about like how I failed are usually performing amazingly great, and they are also getting you leads because people trust people that are willing to talk about failures and not only about wins. If we are on LinkedIn just talking about how amazing everything is and I'm the smartest person and you need to hire me or you need to use my tool because everything works amazingly well, then people don't trust you. So with the combination of, like expressing what is the problem or what you overcame in the past or what you struggle right now, but also how you are winning XYZ, like you want product hunt, obviously you're going to talk about it. Then it's about how are you going to deliver the topic more than specific thing that you're going to say.
One thing that I would add, guys, is like some content outperforms other content, and it doesn't have to be. I always thought like it has to be trendy. Like somebody's asked about carousels. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But like, you have to output, right? Like you have to write, you have to create, and then you'll see like what your audience prefers, and your audience is also changing. Like your connections are changing, your followers are changing, so your content might have to evolve eventually. So, but like what's really useful to me in AuthoredUp, and again,
we don't want to over promote, right?
Yeah, we don't want to over promote, but like it's very useful that I can see an overview of my top posts based on engagement, based on replies, shares, or even the views at scale, because then I can easily repurpose some of the content. And interestingly enough, when I repurpose the same content, and we're going to talk a lot about repurposing, but I get same results, meaning some content really resonates well with your audience. And I would say even like it's not outrageous to say, for the next 12 months, just write consistently and see what sticks, what your audience prefers, right? If you don't already have a market that's active and live and would prefer you to do certain things, right? So quick question, LinkedIn did discontinue the carousels.
That's something. First of all, what carousels? Like PDFs you can still attach, right?
PDFs you can still attach, exactly.
Yes. So that's basically what we call carousel, is the PDF type of the content
basically,
on LinkedIn, and you can still attach it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So there you go. Anonymous attendee answered. All right. We have a great question here, so I'm just going to skip some of the stuff you and I talked about. So how do you produce gated content on LinkedIn? Somebody asked.
Oh, gated content. That's so hard on LinkedIn. I mean, like you can produce gated. If we are talking like just to assume gated content is you have something that you are not willing to share openly, but someone needs to provide you an email, and then you will send it to the person. So you have two options, and you probably saw both. So first one is DM me, and then you will get a ton of messages that you need LeadDelta and like to sort it out and to respond with a link where when they click on a link, they need to provide an email and then they will do it. or you need to, again, tell them to write comment and then to respond to the comment by mentioning that person again with a link. And then, but I think that LinkedIn is, if we are talking about gated content, let's say some ebooks, that LinkedIn is not a great way to promote even gated content. But if you really want to do it, what I would do is I would create a carousel of 7 pages, 9 pages, or a text post with a very simple link. This is like the main, and I would share as much as possible in that carousel, right? And then I would put a link in a post, and I would say, if you're interested to get the whole document or to read more, go here. And I wouldn't say anything about gated content. Here you are already having some interest, and you're really getting those that are super interested in your gated content, and probably they will be willing to put an email.
100%. So guys, do let us know in the comment section, like, what are your objectives? What are you trying to achieve? Which is the first step, obviously, to like doing anything. Like, what are you set to achieve? And what Ivana is saying, like, you should start with. Perfect. So, another, like, do you think, Ivana, like, when you see these guys, like, hey, I have, like, you see their videos scrolling through some, like, I don't know, like a spreadsheet or something, like DM me and, write me a comment and reshare this and follow me and, hug me in order to get this spreadsheet. Do you think that kind of works?
I know that it works for specific audiences, but I don't like it. That's a Twitter style, like that's something that, like we got from some other networks. And then obviously you also have tools that can support you in that, but so why wouldn't you do it? So it really, you are getting some leads maybe from there, but you're losing a lot of people that when they see that, they are like, this is not fair. Do you want to give it to me or you don't want to give it to me? So what exactly are you trying to achieve? So I personally, I never did it. I plan to test it just to see what would be the results, but I still don't feel comfortable with even testing something like that.
Gotcha. Fair enough. And by the way, Ivana is, you can also follow her for, how do you say that? Like a long-term wisdom that, is like really going to be useful, like not only today and tomorrow, but like, she's not your growth hacker that's going to give you like, get rich quick schemes, like that's not going to work with her. So that's why I also respect you and what you guys are doing. All right, so I have a whole bunch of like specific questions, but let's close this first section with like some common mistakes and some engagement tips on your behalf. Like, what do you see people like where they make typically mistakes when they start?
Well, AI content directly from GPT to post or from GPT.
You don't like AI content?
No, I don't like. I like AI for brainstorming. I like AI for improving my writing. I use, ChatGPT all the time, and it helps me a lot. I think that it improves me as a creator, but I don't like, like clicking on a button, getting 5 posts, from about one topic and then scheduling that. So I think that people can feel what is AI generated and what is not. And we also see in data that, like engagement for that type of content is going down because more and more content is like that. Regarding the comments, it happens the same. And like on a comment side, it's even easier to personalize a comment in a sense where even if you are using a tool to create a comment, you can, like remove some elements, make a paragraph, like you can do like a small tweaks in order to make it look more personalized. But at the end, I think it's more about the quality, especially as we have so much content right now that is AI generated, that it is more about quality. And if you have an option to write 10 comments that are semi or low quality or 2 that are great ones, I would always choose these 2. So that's something. And the second thing is right now, what we saw in data is the depth of the commenting section really influences the impressions of the post. So I will explain it. When I post, let's say veteran comes and writes a first comment that's like 1-2 sentences. Then I get there, I respond, I tag veteran, so veteran can respond, and we start some conversation there. Usually when people get to your post, they see that first that as a first comment, and they also see like okay, there are a few more comments in between. When they click again, that's additional engagement. It's a signal to LinkedIn, but they also read that comment. They see it as some kind of a conversation and engage with it, at least like or add their thought, etc. So the depth of the comments is more important than the amount of comments.
The number.
Yes.
Very cool, guys. So it's important to basically have discussions, right? Like to start discussions.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So very cool. This is extremely useful. Now, what are some of the things, like what would you say is the kind of the top mistake that people make? So on your side, I mean, you obviously say, AI, don't abuse AI, use it as a brainstorming tip. On a more traditional level, like, what would you say? Like, are people quitting too early? Like,
yeah.
have unrealistic expectations. It's
I
just,
think
yeah.
Yes, definitely unrealistic expectations. Unfortunately, a lot of coaches, LinkedIn consultants, or sales consultants are telling you that like you just need to do these 3 things 5 times a week, and in like a month you are having 10K a month revenue. Like you are like you are amazing. So and you don't need to know anything, and everything will be fine. So most of the coaches spend like years to build their profile. Most of the huge creators that are promoting this kind of strategies are using different strategies to grow their profiles. So it's more important to look what they are doing rather than what they are saying. So when people come to, for example, to us in AuthoredUp, like we tell them we have like big teams coming and they want to start like corporate influence strategy, and to like that's a huge investment, not only from the tool side, that's the smallest part. Like you need to get people to start creating content on LinkedIn, and you need at least 3 months for the pilot. So if you are thinking about getting something in 7 to 14 days, like it doesn't work like that. So at least 3 months just to know where you are, and then you can scale. That's on a team side.
Amazing. So guys, don't give up too early. One thing that I will add to close this first section is have in mind that LinkedIn is sort of a public marketplace where people join at a certain time to debate and share their ideas. And obviously, sometimes the loudest wins, sometimes the persistent wins. But I think don't forget that LinkedIn's objective is to keep us all on LinkedIn as long as possible, right? And I think that doesn't change for the ad revenue business and everything else that they're doing. And one thing that we're on this point as well that I would say, one thing we noticed changed a lot in the recent years. If you are about to use LinkedIn commercially, to send messages, increase your networks dramatically. I think it's very important to understand that LinkedIn would want a piece of that cake of yours that you're trying to build on LinkedIn. So it is highly recommended that you have a premium package of LinkedIn. And this is like I've never seen anything like such a passive push as I've seen it in 2023 and beyond. So think about it for yourselves. Like, what does that mean, and how are you gonna focus based on that insight. All right. So speaking of focus, this is likely going to be the most extensive section. So I'd really want to give you the space to talk about some of the insights and strategies that you are seeing from the data, right? Again, AuthoredUp, great company. You guys should give it a try. If you haven't, they help you. They're basically your LinkedIn copy content hub, is how I would describe it. So just before we move into statistics and trends, can you give us like a short story, if that's even possible, of AuthoredUp and why are you so loved by 20,000 users worldwide?
Yeah, so well, short story is my co-founder and I got to LinkedIn because we had to find some beta users and leads for our previous startup. And we tried, like spamming people on like I tried, like I sent like 200 messages and I really hated. And I realized, no, I will try content. So try to get some inbound leads coming to me. First, that startup failed, but that's not because of the content. But in the process of, like trying to create content that resonates with the audience, we realized that we need some tools. And those are tools for beginners, what we call, so preview, formatting, like hooks, something like that. So when we tried to find a tool like that, we couldn't. All tools were for professional marketers and for people that want to schedule, like one post to, 20 social media networks. So we built the first version because it was very simple. We decided to give it for free. And to keep building, to first of all start talking to people that need different kind of help with LinkedIn content and to build that into the app. And then we started to build basically only based on the feedback. So we had tens, if not hundreds of conversations. What is needed? What do you have issue with? Like, how do you feel, etc. And like after 13 months, so we stayed in free beta for 13 months. A lot of people thought that we are totally insane because we are bootstrapping this, but
Including
we
me.
felt, yeah, like, yes, he was like, are you insane? People were literally waiting to give us money, and they were thinking that, like there is some game, like there is something behind all of this, because like it is too insane to do it like this.
Right.
But I think that we capitalized on word of mouth. And like in building public, we learned a lot. We also got a lot of users feedback data, and then we started to charge in August.
That's a great story, and we have some of the customers also writing, saying hi. Perfect. So one thing, let's dive right in, talk stats and trends. So tell me some surprising statistics or trends that you observed looking at your data that you don't think we know. Folks on this webinar.
Yeah.
Give us.
Okay. So a few shots. First, polls still work very well for engagement. They work for company pages and for engagement during the weekend. Why? Because LinkedIn has some metrics, like their own rules, right? How many polls they want to show every 10 posts, for example, every 20 posts. So 2 years ago, polls were, like very, were everywhere. Like we hated polls, right? Like it was insane. But then LinkedIn pushed it down and impressions went down, and then people stopped using them. But still, there is a place for them, and not many people are utilizing that place. So polls are right now one of the best type of the content that you can publish during the weekend. So that's for the weekend side. Carousels are still the best performing type of the post. Like that's data from the last month. So that didn't change at all. Company pages are getting more and more features and are getting to have more space right now in the feed. So company pages like but only company pages that have at least 1,000 to 2,000 followers. So you need to build your following network for the company page before it becomes relevant for LinkedIn to show that into the feed. So let's treat those are three things. Yeah.
Interesting. Thanks, Yana. So what would you say in terms of the pages? Is there a limit or like amount of followers you have to gain, or is it like the momentum, like when you're gaining a whole bunch of
yeah. So I cannot I cannot statistically prove this. I could like these three things that I said. So but
it will buy you on whatever you say.
Yeah, okay. So, but with the company page, it's also about how you are getting followers. Are you getting followers by inviting people to follow your page, or you are getting followers organically? And the only way to get followers organically on a company page is to start using company page as a profile and to start engaging with a company page. So get into the comments and talk to people as a company page. But when you are doing that, do not pretend you are a company. And, I know that big companies cannot do this, but smaller companies can definitely do it. You need to be into the comments, especially if someone mentions you. But even if they don't, if there is your employee, or if there is something that is super relevant, like, you can be in the comments and give your insights. So not 1 or 2 words, no like emoji moment, but like a few sentences. So even a company page, like, we have discussions as a company page with our users on LinkedIn all the time, and from each of these discussions we get, let's say, 10 or 15 new followers.
Right. That's pretty cool. And so shout out to our friend Jens, who will actually join us at a panel on the 14th of December. So guys, remind me to write about some exciting panels at the end. But so what's really interesting is, like, he built actually an extension to help you to comment as a company, and then LinkedIn shipped it like a month later. Like, I think he's a champion of building these tiny useful tools that are extremely useful, but then LinkedIn just ends up building them. So that's pretty funny. I had to plug him in. All right, so let's talk about one interesting topic, which is like type of content and timing. So based on your experience, what content resonates the most? I know it's kind of hard to say, but what would you say are the trends at the moment? Like, what are we seeing across the board that is kind of working, and what's the best time to post?
Yeah. Okay. So regarding the type of if we are talking about like type of the content as LinkedIn sees, so text, post, image, PDF or carousel,
Links.
video, etc., links. Yes.
Yeah.
I can say what definitely doesn't work is putting a link in a LinkedIn post and having that link preview page. So that is the worst thing that you can do. And it is not only because of the LinkedIn hates links. That's one part of the story. But the second part is, if you have a link preview, it looks like an image, right? People think that your only goal with your post is to share your link and to promote your link. And people are not in the feed to read and to go to your links. They will go only if they are super interested in what you already said. So when you have that link preview, please kill it by clicking X, and you will just have a simple link in a post. So that's something that, it's so easy to implement, and it's so and you really lose a ton of reach if you don't do it. So please.
Right.
So that's one thing. The second thing is, it depends on the type, what exactly you're trying to achieve. So we see still video posts are not amazingly great in number of impressions when we are comparing different types of posts. However, number of impressions, let's say if it is 1,000, you are going to see between 250 and 300 views on that video, even if it is a second or a few seconds. If in video people have your face, that's a totally different type of the engagement, because then they learn about you, then they engage with you as a person. And that's why videos are for the middle of the funnel. You won't get a huge awareness usually, in 99.9%, but for the existing community to nurture and to build relationships and to invite someone in DMs or to ask for something, video is a great content. And then you obviously LinkedIn has the most space for text plus image, so image posts. That's the most space in the feed, and that is something that usually performs better than the average type of the post.
Gotcha. So are you saying almost always include an image if you want to perform?
Yes,
and
if
capture
possible.
more of the real estate on the feed. Yeah.
Yes. If
Gotcha.
possible.
And so what about the timing? I know you've been exploring a lot, when to post, how to post. Let me give you my philosophy about it, and then you'll
Okay.
I feel like this is mid-century Italy. You come to a square to gather the information and to share and to promote and to just feel connected. And so that, to me, it seems that 8 a.m. Eastern. That's like what 2 p.m. Central European time and whatnot. I think that is when the most people are actually on the social platform. And for me, like I just use AuthoredUp to schedule posts, and then I don't think about it. So I'm not really the best. But would you say that that's the best time to post?
Well, it depends for which day. And it depends on the type of the post. So sorry. So, and also like,
Nice.
yeah, as a hint, like right now in AuthoredUp, we are building like a huge, it's a small feature on the user side, but huge feature on like the complexities where we'll do a personalized best time to post for every user. So, but regarding like the trends, first obviously is who is your target audience. So you are targeting Europe and US, Canada, right? So like 8 a.m. that time. But two things you need to, first of all, there are usually two best times per day, not one. One is the best and you have the second best. And then it's about like how the person will, when they are gonna see your post. So right now, how the algorithm works. When LinkedIn publishes, when you click post or schedule a post at 8 a.m., that post is not immediately shown to the whole group that LinkedIn believes they should show your post. They are just showing to a few people and testing how those people are going to react. If they react positively, if, for example, you have people that rang your bell and then they see the notification and engage, if people click see more, engage with your post, write a comment, then that's a signal for LinkedIn to send it to more people. And that's how you have basically circles when your post is showed into the feed. But for the most people, like if you post at 7, assume that most people are going to see it at 8. So, and where they are going to be at 8. So if you're publishing at 8, probably at 9 is somewhere where most people are going to be pushed your post to, and then we'll start to engage. So you have that 1 hour, between 30 minutes and 1 hour, when also you can do some activities to push your post a bit more. So that's about, and then you also have like during the Saturday and Sunday.
Wait. Now you have to talk about these activities.
Okay, yeah.
So somebody asked, so we also have one question that I'd like to answer right now because I think that's the right time. Damon is asking about engagement pods.
I have a lot to say about that.
I know. Go.
Yeah. First of all, like LinkedIn knows, because if we in AuthoredUp can identify them, like trust me, like LinkedIn can identify them. Secondly, we see very interesting tendency in 2023. And that's pods between big creators. And that's something that wasn't like that common in the past. Like usually what you would do, you would buy 1,000 likes and, like 200 comments, and then people would, like do something like those commenting, and that would be like very simple comments, like I agree, super, bravo, great post, like that kind of comments and likes. And they would not come from your target audience, but from anyone that is in that pod. First, like LinkedIn is lowering the number of impressions of that post per specific engagement. We see that in data. Unfortunately, we had a few people that are using pods. I need to send them messages. So I think that they are not really doing great on their content. Then you have the second element is where LinkedIn knows how you got to someone's post. Did you do it organically? Did they show you in the feed, or you got a link, right? So again, you are getting some small penalties. Third, people see that it is a pod. It's really, like usually they see. And last thing is, it's obvious that, by the quality of the comments, and also that those people in the comments are not, maybe are your third connection, again, shows that probably you are using a pod. So I'm totally against them. Regarding big creators, they are using pods. How they're doing it, like it's a different type of the pod. Like they have, let's say, 20 or 30 big creators, or 5, and they agree to engage and to do some partnership thing. And then they are boosting each other's posts. But then they are doing it, like they become friends. And, you know, they are doing it like a bit differently, where you cannot, like, it is some kind of an agreement between them, obviously.
Right.
But, you know, like, you cannot say it is a typical pod because it's hard, you know, like, to get into it. And the third version is when these people allow you to buy their comments, reshares, etc. And that happens as well. So you can get that. We even know the prices. Yeah, I won't share that.
Is it all worth it?
I don't know. Like, I really, like, I wouldn't even get into that space.
Gotcha. There you go. That tells us a lot. All right. So we have a couple of really good questions. You know, Juan is asking, how about LinkedIn newsletters? Is it recommended to use them or use an external tool?
To be honest, like, we are not into that space, so we don't have data only about, like, I can just say what I believe, but I don't think it is super relevant.
Some people are using newsletters and it's useful. I would just I would tackle it from the strategic standpoint, meaning you don't want all your eggs in a single basket, right? Like, you don't want to be like super dependent on LinkedIn, is my 2 cents. If you're just repurposing it from your main newsletter, by all means. You know, I always like to say that, you know, email is still one of the freest, so to speak, you know, protocols that, you know, everybody can use. You don't have to pay for it. And when people give you their email address, likely that email address won't change. You know, people more often change their addresses or like houses than they do their email addresses. So it's a still very powerful strategy. And I think, you know, what I keep saying throughout these webinars is, like, it's a bell curve, right? So some strategies, you know, are the new, you know, sexy thing in town, but then over the course of a few months, when more and more people start deploying same strategies, the yield curve goes down, right? Like, so, you know, but newsletters are there to stay, and I would say utilize you know, LinkedIn newsletters just as a tool to repurpose your content, not necessarily as your main one. I'd say. Awesome. So we have a couple of other questions. How much time will it take to see what resonates? I think Ivan already kind of answered that, like 3 months approximately. It really depends, right?
You can, but you can basically already with 10 posts, you can, you know, like, if
right.
But you need to be very specific with what you are testing, right? Like, don't try to write about 10 different topics and then try to write 5 posts for each of 3 topics and then see, you know, like, what it means. Like, I'm using tags, for example, to see, okay, so this is built in public, this is LinkedIn Insights. I already see that, like, for me personally, LinkedIn Insights are performing the best. So that's how, so even with, let's say, 15 posts, you can see about the topic. Probably 15 to 20, you need to get an idea about the type of the content. Again, try to count how much time you spend on creating specific content piece, because it's not, you're comparing 2 different things. Post with 30 minutes and 3 hours, obviously, even if they perform the same in number of impressions, the results are not the same.
Gotcha. We're going to be talking about 2023 in a separate show that we're doing to close this season. So just a quick prompt: Thursday, December the 14th, we're having a panel of just amazing human beings and professionals that are you know, similar to Ivana, and in a sense that, you know, they're very analytical and very technical. So just make sure December 14th, you know, book it on your calendars. But we're going to be talking a lot about 2024. And so, speaking of that, can you give us a gist, like, what do you expect from LinkedIn in 2024, Ivana? Like, what are some of the trends that you would want us to have in mind, if any?
Yeah. So first, like, LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft, right? Microsoft has access to AI, and they're trying to push it everywhere. So we already see, we have a way to see new features that are coming to LinkedIn internally. So we already see that they are preparing a lot of features that are related to AI, not text generation or text improvement. So that's something with the content and with anything that is, you know, like text piece that you are creating. LinkedIn also definitely want to push company pages, and it seems that featured section for company pages is coming as well. So the same as for personal, and we'll see whether, you know, like on Twitter, it doesn't matter if you're a person or a page or whoever, right? On LinkedIn,
Right.
it's very specific because you have a hierarchy. Like you cannot have a page without an admin. Like page is not a
Right.
entity without a person that is managing a page. So that third thing that we see that will explode is corporate influence / thought leadership, advocates in companies. Like first of all, we see it in AuthoredUp like a year and a half ago or a year ago. We had only a few like people that were talking about that or coming to us regarding that. Right now we have enterprises, we have smaller companies, and they see like a huge upstick in in that trend. So that's something that is coming, and that means that like the competition is going up.
Right.
So that's something that I see that will happen on a content side.
Definitely less real estate and more fight for the same, for limited feed, right?
Yeah,
We'll
exactly.
see what
Yes.
LinkedIn does about it. Very cool. I have a big expectation that LinkedIn is gonna re-enable more APIs and is gonna charge crazy amounts for it. When Elon Musk did that with X, that was the first thing I said about LinkedIn. They're gonna follow likely, and it's just gonna be outrageously expensive. So I see that a lot of companies will have a way into that. All right. So Judy's actually like, there are a couple of people that are talking about the CTAs in a post, like when you comment. This is a new thing. And my take was that you need to have Sales Navigator, you need to have a premium in order to be able to utilize that feature, if I'm not mistaken.
If you're talking about like visit my website, like a CTA on your profile that is showing
Right,
the feed, yes, you need
correct, but the one that is visible
in the feed.
in the feed
Yes.
when you comment, or
Yeah, I need to have a premium for that.
You need to have a premium, exactly.
Yes.
Is it like
yes.
Sales Navigator specifically, or like
I think that all premium. I think that it's all, but I know personally for Sales Navigator, but usually, like they start with Sales Navigator, everything else, other stuff are included. Those other plans are more expensive than Sales Navigator.
Gotcha. All right, so we have another question from Amy. If video is not the best for top of the funnel, what type of posts are best to drive new followers and or profile views?
Yeah, so carousel, if we are talking about type carousel, if we are talking about like what specific content for, to get followers, to get people to ring the bell, etc., is something that is super unique and usually something that people would say, like, I can't believe that person shared this with us for free. So it has to be so valuable that like something that they can't believe that it is free or that you spend so much time building it. It can be if you have some insight, like in AuthoredUp, obviously we have a lot of data analysis, etc. But for example, if you have some kind of templates, frameworks, something that is super actionable for your target group, and when they see it, like they can implement it and they want more, that's exactly what is going to drive. Again, when you have that type of content, it can be in type of the image. So it doesn't have to be a carousel. It can be an image. You can go one step further and in the post, tell people to repost, because repost is a very important action. It boosts your engagement. It boosts your impressions. So reposting is great. And what else? CTAs in a signature, where for CTAs, they need to be very specific, hopefully with only one CTA. So my name is Ivana Todorovic. I would tag myself, follow me for more insights about LinkedIn. That's it. Why I'm tagging? Because I don't want people to scroll up and then to find my face. When I tag myself, they just click and they go to my profile, right? And I also tell them, follow me to do it. You can say, follow me and ring the bell. That's like, 1.5 CTA. But that's the most. But I wouldn't do things like, my name is this. I write about these 3 topics. DM me for this, follow me for that, Short and sweet. Nobody want to read that. And try to keep, like, if you're talking about like some metrics, your CTA needs to be at less than 10% of your text post. So don't have like half of the CTA and half of your post.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty. It just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
No, but listen. Actually, like I've figured out that there's actually a lot of people that are considered experts on the topic, and they don't necessarily spend a lot of time writing posts. They even like repurpose their tweets, right?
Yeah.
And they're having a ton of success. So I think even broader topics, if you're recognized as a person that has had success in the industry, even that could work. I could name a few examples, like Andrew, startup guy. He just keeps writing about startups. It's literally one sentence, usually an image from Twitter. That's about it, and people go crazy, right? No big engagement on the comments, etc. So there are profiles like that. Justin Welsh, for example, exactly. He used to do a lot of hard work in the beginning, and so now, obviously, he was one of the pioneers. In the moment when LinkedIn decided to say like, okay, we care about creators, because you had some pioneers that got banned from an era before. I forgot the name, but like a guy who basically figured out the whole algorithm, and then they started paying more attention to it and whatnot. So, but yeah, it's not always, in my experience, that you have to be ultra specific. Even for a broader type of content, if you really care about followers, I'd say you wanna maybe even like have a broader type of content. Like, for example, like I wrote the other day about like 20 tips for remote workers, and it's just the content that I keep repurposing every year because it just performs so well and people love it.
Yeah.
And I always try and edit and update it a little bit. So
yeah, crying CEO. Yeah,
thank goodness we were crying CEO.
Yeah, crying CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, listen. Yeah.
Sorry, just one comment. You are totally right about repurposing and about broad topics, but also it's important where you are in which stage are you. Like, are you getting like how famous you are on LinkedIn, or are you an influencer that is coming from somewhere else and gets to LinkedIn? Obviously, they are gonna get a ton of impressions, but it's not because they built it on LinkedIn. So it depends. Like big creators, they have an option to lower like the quality, or let's say also they have their methodologies, but to be doing a simpler content and still perform great. But that's that's for top 1 to 3%. But for most people that are trying to build their name on LinkedIn or in specific target audience, then they need to work more on it. I'm sorry, like
100%.
That's
like I keep getting examples of we just had that discussion. Like a guy just wrote like whatever sentence, like it includes some swearing, so I'm not gonna repeat that. And basically, like everybody's like that's it, like a whole bunch of impressions and whatnot. And my VP of sales, Igor, he's like, and I shared something extremely useful, valuable. That's making us tick, and like literally zero engagement. Anyways, but that's that's just the name of the game. So you have to keep playing it, and you get your moment of glory. But one thing that I'm noticing is like how YouTube is content on YouTube is like almost evergreen. So they keep reusing your content. It seems that LinkedIn has kind of started doing the same thing. So you can see your post from like 10-15 days ago being resurfaced to some users.
Yeah.
Can you comment on that?
Yes, I saw it on my post, and it seems like usually before you would post, and then the first day you would get 80% of the impressions, and it's going down, right?
Right.
And in like 3 to 5 days, it's over. But for the best post, like right now, the first and the second day are very important. So like these 80% are getting into the first 2 days, and then it is going down like this. So you can, even after 10-15 days, your best post will be shown to someone in the feed. So yes, it's longer, but it's not like, it's not more than, let's say, 2 weeks. Maybe they will try, like something later, but I don't think it's more than that.
Gotcha. A couple other things. So We're slowly, guys, closing it off. We have 7 more minutes, so lots of great questions, lots of engagement. Thank you so much for that. We have one other topic I want to talk about is like, mixing content and connections. Like let's get that wholesome LinkedIn picture. You said to me like a while ago that you used the power of your network to grow and scale initially AuthoredUp. So give us a case study on that, and how it all started for you.
Yeah, so can I promote LeadDelta? Like, yeah, okay. So yeah, so when we started to look for first users of AuthoredUp before we even published the beta version, so my idea was to get feedback, at least to provide a few screenshots to people and to say, like, does it seem like something that you would use? So what I did is I went through my connections. At that moment, I also realized that I have too much connections that I don't really need, or that I don't know who they are, and I didn't know even how I ended up with them. So I removed them, by the way. But I used the LeadDelta and also like the LinkedIn messaging because I have my optimized profile, and I could also communicate to people and ask them for feedback. So I think that getting into connections, because at least your first connection, it's better than nothing. Even if you never tried to talk to that person, if you even can nurture that, like maybe go to their profile, and if they are publishing something, comment there, like their content, like you don't need to maximize all connections, but you will find people that you're like, wow, I didn't know that I'm connected with this person. So that's something that is very, very valuable. And it also, for me, it was also a driver of the further like feedback that I was collecting for AuthoredUp. Because LinkedIn is my native place, right? So that's why it's very important for me to like to have connections with people that are my users, my potential users, people that they care at least about the topics that I care as well.
Gotcha. And so, how else can one leverage their connections to enhance their content reach and impact?
Yeah, so first, imagine that you have some potential leads. How LinkedIn algorithm works is whomever you are talking to in messages, if that person responds to your message, there is a high probability that they will see your first post, the first post that you publish in their feed. Maybe they will see a few posts as well after that. So the idea is to find connections that potentially care about your content. You don't need to ask for anything. You can start a simple conversation with them, at least meet them, but be sure that they will see your post in the feed. And that's how you will start nurturing some relationship that you didn't have before. And that's where content works together with DMs and connections.
100%. And I would say, it's a really great distribution strategy because within your network, you have specific target groups that are, what we like to call context led, that are specific audience that you can market to or, provide value to. And it's kind of really useful when you're writing about something to kind of resurface it by like sharing with people that, would care about that topic. And unlike, doing cold outreach, which is just a form of advertising, in my honest opinion. You don't get those no's and negatives. It's typically your audience that you just help them find your content better. So I think there's a really great synergy. All right, so as you and I both anticipated, we can talk for hours about LinkedIn and how to really be better and how to improve the engines. We said stay until the end because we do have some good stuff for you here. Even I'll let you go first. AuthoredUp. Do guys go and register? It's the Black Friday week, so Ivana has some surprises for you. Not sure if you want to talk about it now.
Yeah, I can just we are
Awesome.
still in a preparation of like our Black Friday offer, because it will be like an offer that will explode in 2 days. Yes, yeah. So, but whoever registers right now will be able to use that offer that we are preparing for the next week.
Beautiful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Ivana, for doing this. I'm beyond thrilled, to have you as my fellow co-founder, of another great startup. We like to call ourselves the good guys of LinkedIn.
Yes.
Speaking of which, our firm belief is that we live in a world driven by relationships. And that, as I mentioned, cold outreach and one-to-many is really failing us at the grandiose level. What used to be productivity hack, what used to really work well, is now becoming spam. And so we truly believe that one integrated cross-reference professional network is the future. Collaboration is the future. And that's why we built LeadDelta. That's why we built your single workspace for a company's relationships. We have a great, amazing people behind the product that are there to support you, and you can use 50% off or 4+2 months for the first year if you do subscribe with the BFCM coupon code. The deadline is end of the month, so definitely use this great opportunity. What else can I tell you guys? Do reach out to me, reach out to Ivana. Extremely useful content on her side, and just make sure to say hi. Thank you for participating in this show, Ivana.
Yeah, thank you everyone, and see you in the feed.
See you in the feed. That's a great one. All right, talk later. Bye now.
Bye.